Hello Year 4 and welcome back to part 2 of today's geography lesson. So far you have learned that there are 4 layers of vegetation to the rainforest. Now we've learned about the emergent layer, we've learned about the canopy, we've learned about the understory layer, and we have one final layer to learn. And this layer is the forest floor. And as you can see, it's right at the bottom of the rainforest. Now we know that in the understory layer they don't get a lot of sunlight because it's blocked by the canopy. But the forest floor gets next to no sunlight at all, so it's very, very dark in this area of the rainforest. Now, as a result of this, very few plants can grow in this area because they don't have the sunlight to grow, they don't have the water to grow, so very few plants are here. And in the forest floor, there's lots and lots of fallen leaves, branches, and also remains of any creatures that have died that fall onto this part of the rainforest. Now, anything that has died decay very quickly because of the insects, the fungi, and also the hot conditions. So they fall to the ground and then they disappear quite quickly because of all of these conditions that just get rid of it straight away. But you'd be surprised because a variety of insects make their home in this forest. They call it the forest litter because it's just remains of things. Now on the forest floor, lots of insects make their home here, but also other animals such as frogs, reptiles, gorillas, elephants, tigers, jaguars, they all make their home on the forest floor. Now of course, lots of these animals need to be on the forest floor because maybe they can't climb like elephants, for example, so they do stay in this area. But they don't get a lot of sunlight and they don't get a lot of rain either. So, those are the 4 layers of the vegetation in the rainforest. I wonder, can you remember the 4 layers? Can you label them from top to bottom just on a piece of paper, please? Pause the video and have a go. Can you remember what they're called? And then, can you remember any fun facts about them? Pause the video and have a go, please. Okay, did you get them right? Did you find the first one as being the emergent layer? Did you remember how tall the trees grew? How many meters high? Did you remember the canopy was next and how much water got in the canopy and how much it hid the sunlight from the rest of the forest? Did you remember the understory was next, having little sunlight, but the forest floor was the final layer of vegetation in a rainforest, having practically no sun because it's completely dark because it's covered by the canopy. Well done if you remembered all of those. Now, I have got a plenary for you today, and what I want you to do is, I want you to listen to the clue that I am going to tell you. Then I want you to think about which layer of the rainforest the clue is describing. If it's describing the emergent layer, I want you to put your hand above your head like you're representing the top of the rainforest. If you think it represents the canopy, I want you to put your arms out wide because that represents the second layer. If you think I'm talking about the understory layer, I want you to touch your toes like this person is doing. And finally, if you think I'm talking about the forest floor, I want you to crouch down low so you're representing that I'm talking about the lowest part, okay? So stand up, find a space where you can still hear me, and I'm going to start reading you some clues. Are you ready? So, my first clue is trees in this layer can be as tall as 60 meters high. Which one is that? Is that the emergent canopy or understory or forest? Well done, it's the emergent layer. Fantastic. Oh, next one. This layer gets almost no sunlight. This one's tricky. It is the forest floor because the understory, some of you might have chose that one. The understory does still get sunlight, but forest floor gets even less. Okay. This layer gets the most rain and the most sunlight. This layer gets the most rain and the most sunlight. Choose which one it is. It is the canopy. Well done, because the canopy picks up most of the rain. Oh, okay. Almost no plants grow in this layer. What am I talking about? Almost no plants grow in this layer. That is the forest floor. Almost no plants live in this layer. Okay, it is very windy and it's very cold here. What am I talking about? The emergent layer. Well done, because the trees are that tall that it's very windy and cold, and we know their trunks are very thin, so their leaves must be very big and very waxy to be able to withstand and withhold the wind that is up in the emergent layer. Fantastic, Year 4, you're doing so well. A few more then. Trees in this layer form a roof over lower layers. What am I talking about? A roof over lower layers. Which layer of vegetation forms a roof? Ah, the canopy. The canopy forms the roof. Well done. We will do 2 more. Oh, now we're on to animals, okay? So, monkeys, bats, and butterflies live here. What am I talking about? Monkeys, bats, and butterflies live here. I am talking about the emergent layer. Well done, because we know that monkeys and butterflies can fly up to the trees that tall, and bats and butterflies and monkeys can climb, can't they? Okay. Gorillas, leopards, and tigers live here. Where am I talking about? Gorillas, leopards, and tigers live here. That's right, I'm talking about the forest floor, aren't I? Because these animals can actually move around, they can walk on the floor. Fantastic. Last one. Plants in this layer are no taller than 3 meters. Where am I talking about? Fantastic. That is the understory layer. Great job, Year 4. You have done some fantastic listening today. I am going to explain your task for today. So this is the sheet that you're going to get in your resources pack today. I want to test your knowledge of each of the layers in a rainforest. So there are lines here underneath each layer. So what you need to do is, first of all, write a brief description of what you can remember about the emergent layer. You can use some of these keywords to help you, but mainly talk about its temperature, talk about the animals that might live there, talk about the trees, okay? Now I do know that there isn't a lot of space here. So what I am suggesting is, after you've filled up all of the lines, you can then write on a separate piece of paper the rest of what you're thinking, okay? Because I'd love you to carry on your fantastic thoughts if you have them. Do the same for canopy, understory, and forest floor. So you write a bit about them, what animals live there, what temperature is like, how much rainfall, how much sunlight, what animals live there. When you've done that, then in the rest of the space in each of the rows, you are going to draw a labelled picture of the layer. So you might draw a few trees, because we know there weren't many trees in the emergent layer. There was a few, but they were tall and they were spread out, weren't they? So you might draw these trees that were spread out, then you might label the trees, and you might label any animals that were there. Then you might draw the canopy. So you might draw the trees very close together this time, mightn't you? You might want to emphasise the fact that they actually block out 80% of the sunlight to anything underneath. Then you do the same to the understory, then the forest floor. But Year 4, do I want you to just be drawing trees for every single box? No, I don't, do I? I want you to really be emphasising what animals live there. What types of trees are they? Are they big trees? Are they tall trees? Are they trees that are grouped together? Or are there no trees? Are there any trees in the forest floor that you can see? Are there any trees in the understory? Are there only trees or plants that can only grow a certain height? You can use all these words to help you with your labelling of the picture. So if you're stuck and you're thinking, I only think I can label a tree. Well, you can't. You can't just label a tree. You could label the fact that there's lots of wind. It gets lots of sunlight. You could label that there's lots of insects in the understory and the forest floor. That is your task for today. So, all of your pictures should be on this sheet, and any extra writing, please make sure you do it on a separate piece of paper, because I understand there's not a lot of space. So that is your task for today. Really excited to see these. Really enjoyed teaching you all about the different layers of vegetation in a rainforest, and I hope that you've really enjoyed learning about it too. Have a lovely rest of your day, Year 4, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.